9 times out of 10, I'm gonna pick African woman over an American woman. Simply because of the cultural element, right? Whether she's from,
I don't know.
If she's from any part of West Africa, there's a certain, I don't know, the upbringing, the connection, the understanding. Yeah, Ghanaian is always going to be the one that I understand the most. But when I'm dealing with a Nigerian woman, it's the same thing. We understand each other, right? And that's no knock to the American woman, absolutely, but it's the same way if you're from New York, because I know Americans are going to see this too, right? If you're from New York and you grew up in New York and you dated predominantly New York people and you ate New York food and you went to New York schools and you dressed like a New Yorker, when you see another New Yorker, you guys automatically have some type of vibe right there. Boom. There's some type of identification that, you know what, you and me were from the same thing. Now, if you go over to Washington State, you might like the difference, but you don't have that immediate connection where it's like you've grown, you understand the chopped cheese, you understand the dialect, you understand the culture and everything else in between. There's certain things that are going to be missing. So my preference is more so because like you understand me as opposed to somebody may not be as good. You know what I mean? Everybody's cool, but I have my comfort zone.
Can marriages between Africans and African Americans work? First of all, I hate when people like ask that question, like, how is that going to work? Yeah, of course it can work. One thing you got to remember, marriage between anybody, I don't care if you're marrying somebody from your neighborhood, your state, your ethnic group that speaks your same language, your country, it is always going to involve work. So that's the first thing. The other thing is, though, I do think, and I'm speaking for as an African American, born, raised, woman, whatever, I do think that there are some things, some ways that African Americans are very American, and we don't really realize it because things are differentiated around here. So I'm Black American, I'm African American, but at the root of it all, people don't want to see it, but there are some very American things that all Americans do, be they Black, white, Asian, or whatever. And the thing about culture, a lot of times, most times, pretty much all the time, it's easier to see somebody else's culture, but it's not as easy to see yours. And so, you know, people coming in, they say, whoa, you got some stuff that you do. And we may see ourselves as very different from other Americans, but we're not all that different.
You know, have you ever wondered why some African immigrants who build successful lives in America still return to Africa to find their own spouse? Many people assume it's because maybe they don't find partners in the United States, but for many families, the answer is much complex. It often comes down to cultures, maybe values, maybe languages, maybe traditions, and even the family expectations. So today, I want us to explore this topic respectfully because relationships are deeply personal and there is no single explanation that fits everyone. So if you're watching me, subscribe. If you have something to contribute to this discussion, make the use of the comment section button.
American women always ask questions. Why is it that African men cannot marry American women? But most of them will date American women but will never marry them. Now let me break it down. You guys are beautiful, you guys are good, but it's kind of hard for an African man who is not looking for papers, who is not looking for passports, who is not looking for citizenship to marry an American woman. Cultural differences. Because at the end of the day, if I marry an American woman, you can't cook the kind of food I want to eat. I don't care if you go to YouTube or Facebook or TikTok to learn how to cook it. It will never be the same as an African woman who actually learned how to cook it at the age of 9, 10, 11, 12. You 35, you just want to go to YouTube to learn how to cook egusi for me? It's not going to be the same. So understand that part, and most African men like to eat our fufu, egusi, okra, yam porridge, beans, the one you call black eyed peas, amala, gbegiri, ewedu, goat meat, pepper soup, jollof rice, fried rice, a while going. So there's certain things that we can't just let go because we want to marry an American woman. Okay? So now another thing is cultural differences, right? My mom can stay in the house. She can come live with us in the house. She can come from Nigeria, come live with us in the house. An American woman may not accept it if she wants to stay for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years. African woman understand that it's part of the culture. She will take it. And American women will want privacy. Sex for them is fundamental. If an American woman is not having enough sex the way she wants, she doesn't make the noise she wants, she doesn't scream, she doesn't jump up and down, she's uncomfortable. African woman will understand that, okay, my mother-in-law is downstairs, my father-in-law is in the next room, let me do this, let me do that, because she's part of the culture. And another thing is, most American women, when they get mad, they will cheat on you. Most American women, you get them angry, they're calling their ex-boyfriends. Yeah, bitch, you made me do what I did. Bitch, you made me step out. Bitch, I'm sorry, I cheated.
I have to stop him right there. Yes, this guy was talking too much. In fact, he was saying a lot of nonsense, rubbish. So, is it really true that a lot of you, you actually like to get married to black American women because of papers, right? You just said everything in this video, but I know that we still have good African men. You understand? After watching this video, I have this to tell you. Let me tell you, you're not gonna marry a woman because the woman knows how to cook. Any woman can learn how to cook. You're just talking about how a woman will go to YouTube, learn something is not enough. Let me tell you, you have to have an open mind as an African man. You see, a lot of time, I see how you guys love to use your women. You don't know the importance of women. You don't know the value. You don't know at all. So your reason of not getting married to black American women is because you can't take advantage of them. You can't use them. You can't manipulate them. You know what I mean? So because you know they know their right? But I tell you, you fail this time. You fail. None of you are failing now because our African women, they don't play anymore. Now they know all what their mothers went through. They don't want to go through that. They don't want to. All right? They really don't want to. So, as a matter of fact, so this is really true that a lot of you are advantage taker. Like, you're talking about when it comes to sex life, how black Americans cannot do without sex, right? So, do you think that your African women, they don't like sex? They do. They do. It's just that because of one reason to another, you guys have been oppressing them. You guys are oppressors. You use them, right? You tell them, you manipulate them, you let them know that you are a woman. You are not supposed to do this, you're not supposed to do that. Women, African women, wake up. Wake up. Don't go through what your parents went through. Don't. Because your parents, they didn't have their way. They didn't have the opportunity. Now you have it. Just listen to this man. Listen to the nonsense this man is vomiting. Hear this man speak. See the reason why these African men are getting married to you. Because they can use you. Because they can take advantage of you. Before they can turn you left to right. Right? Okay, and then you also went about saying how mother-in-law can come to the house, they can stay with you till the next 7 years, and the African woman understand the culture and they won't complain. You failed them. Because nowadays, our African women, they don't play. A lot of them, some of them know their rights. Maybe you don't know. They know. They know that is their husband's house. That is their personal territory. That is their own personal space. A lot of them know. Remember that a lot of them know. Okay? So, what is your problem? I don't understand you as an African man. You guys need to start acting right. Okay? My black American women, you guys are loved. We still have African men that just love you naturally. Not because you don't know how to cook. Not because you know how to cook. In fact, they love you the way you are. Because a lot of you are beautiful. You are a queen. You know your rights. You know your what. So, we still have African men that will love you for that. Ignore this video. Don't let this video get into you. Because we still have men. They were not well brought up. These are the type of men. These are the type of men. Avoid this type of men. Anyway, I'll see you guys on my next post. I am your Edo.
Listen, most American girls actually want to marry Africans for paper. Like they want to marry Africans for a dual citizenship. You get to the point now. Most of all these girls that will be telling you, hey, Africans only marry us for paper, Africans only marry us for green card. They are tired of the American system and they're actually looking for a way to escape. And the only way to escape is to marry African. You get to the point now. They just want to demoralize you so that they will be able to take advantage of you. We are not doing each other no favor. You understand? By marrying each other, we are not doing nobody no favor. So don't allow anybody to make you feel small. You get to the point now. You also you have more thing to offer than what she about to offer you. You get to the point now. Like 3 of my American girls told me. One said, "Son John, please take me to Africa and never bring me back to America." The other one said, if he wants paper, I want African dual citizenship too, either Ghana or Nigeria. The other one said, if he wants paper, me too, I want a piece of land in Africa. We all have something to offer. Don't let them make you feel you don't have anything to offer. You actually have more to offer than what you're about to offer you. You get to the point now. Most of all these girls that will be demoralizing you, making you feel small, or make you think that, oh, you are only with us for paper, you are with us for green card. After green card, you run. She's with you for what she stands to gain. Is that a piece of land? Is that a dual citizenship? Most girls here, they are tired of the situation. So they are looking for a way to escape. And the only way to escape is to marry you. You get to the point now. Use your head. Don't allow anybody to make you feel small. You get to the point now.
Can marriages between Africans and African Americans work? First of all, I hate when people like ask that question, like, how is that going to work? Yeah, of course it can work. One thing you got to remember, marriage between anybody, I don't care if you're marrying somebody from your neighborhood, your state, your ethnic group that speaks your same language, your country, it is always going to involve work. So that's the first thing. The other thing is, though, I do think, and I'm speaking for as an African American, born, raised, woman, whatever, I do think that there are some ways that African Americans are very American, and we don't really realize it because things are differentiated around here. So I'm Black American, I'm African American, but at the root of it all, people don't want to see it, but there are some very American things that all Americans do, be they Black, white, Asian, or whatever. And the thing about culture, a lot of times, most times, pretty much all the time, it's easier to see somebody else's culture, but it's not as easy to see yours. And so, people coming in, they say, whoa, you got some stuff that you do. And we may see ourselves as very different from other Americans, but we're not all that different. So that being said, yes, my first marriage was with an African man. He was from Ghana, pretty much elite. So I think that might contextualize a lot of things. And I honestly didn't always feel like he was as connected to his culture. His family has lived in London for a long time. And, he knows his culture and he knows other Africans. So there was that. But there are a couple things I have seen, a couple of differences that I think African Americans may not be aware of. And so the first thing is family. And so one of the ways that we differ, like, yes, African Americans, we do value family very much. Maybe we think we value it above any other group in America. But when it comes to African and family, we don't really have any idea of what that means. We don't, as an African Americans, we often don't have any idea of what the obligation will mean for that other person. What it means, if you have family, it means they could ask of things from you. They could ask for money. They could come to live with you. You might have to raise other children. And we have some of that, but I do feel as Americans, there's this social thing where you could do it, you could not do it. And I don't really feel like that exists on the whole in Africa. There is a very strong obligation to your family. And when you're marrying African, you got to realize that. What does that mean? And with family, I think the other thing is that as Americans, even African Americans, we get married and then it's kind of hands off. And if it's not, it's a big deal. Like, oh, you've got a really busybody mother-in-law and this and that. However, I do feel, again, as I always say, I'm generalizing. I do feel that as an African American who is married to an African, I didn't really understand or wasn't anticipating the extent to which the family would be involved in the marriage. Now, my experience was that it was okay because I felt supported. And I think a lot of times in African American marriages or American marriages in general, you know, you marry, you go off your own way, and there's not always a very strong commitment that both families will have to making the marriage work. And that doesn't appear as bossiness, do what I say, or, you know, but it also appears as maybe wanting to help out both people, but there's a stronger investment in a marriage. I feel like marriage is taken more seriously, honestly. And so when two people decide that they're going to be married, their families are very committed to that and they want to see it work. It's seen as a combination of two families. The last thing I want to say in this video is probably going to be a little controversial. But I do find in general that as Americans, we think we're focused on the future. And maybe we are, but again, I'll say it time and time again. It doesn't matter like which immigrant you're talking about that comes into the States. They're coming here on a mission. They've had to leave their family for whatever reasons. It's not always bad, but they didn't just come here because their country is not great. They came here to do some specific things. And so how you're going to take your view of life is going to be different when you're not away from home. You're not going anywhere to try and get something, having to learn a new language and all of this. So I do feel that a lot of times in general, Africans marrying African Americans, Africans will seem more focused a lot of times on the future and making a lot of more decisions for the family than African Americans and pretty much Americans do. We just, in general, we have a little bit of grind, but we're not really being taken out of our comfort zone. And so I do feel like a lot of times, like I said, it might appear, it's like, well, why are you, you know, there's just this duty, this obligation, a lot of long-term planning. And I think that is another difference. I don't think it's a bad difference, but I do think that as African Americans and Americans, like a lot of times we think we're doing that, but you know, we're Americans, so we're kind of, we could kind of be kind of short term and looking more towards instant gratification rather than building. Oh, one more thing is the thing about elders. So yes, African Americans, we always pride ourselves on respecting elders. We feel like we do it better than anybody else. And we talk about how other people raise their kids and this and that. But let me tell you, in general with Africa, that is some stuff that is on times 10. Like literally, you need to bow down to your elders. Me, being a grandmother, people would literally bow down to me. So that means that, you know, if you're an African American woman, that African man's mother is going to take a very strong presence in your life if she is still alive. And we kind of have that. But again, I feel like a lot of times American marriages are pretty much, it's a nuclear family thing. So it's like, I'm going to get married and I'm going to go off and do my own family and do my own thing. And I think in general in Africa, that is not the way it is. It's like when you're getting married, you're actually extending your family. So there's no getting away from anybody's family and doing your own thing. And when it comes to elders, yes, African Americans should be prepared to really see what respective elders mean. They should be prepared for, it may look like interference in the relationship, decision making. But again, in general, I do feel like for African marriages, it's about uniting two families and the commitment is actually stronger. So I'm gonna
African women, I got a serious question for y'all. So why do y'all think that African man can't be happy unless he's with y'all? I don't know how many African women be in my comments underneath my video saying that, oh, don't worry because African men can only be with African women because we understand each other. Like, why do y'all have this perception that African men can only be with you guys and be happy? Is it because you guys tolerate their bullshit? Is it because after a long day of knacking other women, they would come home to cooked egusi stew? Like, I don't get it. It's like, oh, we understand each other. That's the reason why. I don't know why y'all think that these African men can't be in happy, successful relationships unless they're with you. All because you guys are the same culture. Like, make it make sense. Allow that man to be whoever the fuck he want to be with. African, African American, Chinese, Japanese, Mexican. Because most of y'all don't even want to be with African men anyway. Y'all want to be with the white tea men and the black American men. So it almost is like y'all don't want African men, but y'all don't want nobody else to be with them either. Y'all just want them to sit and just suffer. Yes, we understand that after a hard day of knacking, you guys make their egusi stew. But that doesn't mean that African men can only be with African women and be happy. Like, y'all need to stop saying that. It sounds ridiculous as hell. If you know you want the white tea men, let these African men go and let them be who the hell they want to be with. I get so tired of that. African men can only be with African women. They're only happy with us. Allow these men to enjoy their time with whoever the fuck they're gonna enjoy it with. And if they come back to get y'all, kudos to y'all.
Hello guys, I'm damn serious. I'm damn tired of how you African American women, you want to marry our African men and you don't want us to have anything to do with your black American men. And you don't want us to have any single thing to do with your African American men. What is the problem? What's the color of some of you problem? Like, I don't understand. Why are you guys so greedy, selfish? Like, I don't understand. Because I'm saying this because of the kind of comments I get. Like, I'm still getting comments. People saying that, oh, and the worst thing is that I'm even getting comments from those that are married to African. You will see them, right? Oh, I'm married to a Nigerian man. I'm married to a Senegalese man. And you can have all for yourself. Like, why are you selfish? Why are you greedy? You want to have our men and you don't want us to have yours. I'm trying to forget about this thing. I'm trying not to be talking about you guys. I'm trying not to really be talking about some of these things. But you keep pushing me from the kind of comments that you guys are dropping. You keep pushing me. So you think we don't feel? You think we don't have emotions? Or you think that our women are not allowed? Or you really don't want? This is how you want it to be? But that's not fair, you know. I really want you to know. It's not fair. Let our women explore. Just like the way some of you are exploring. All right? Our women are never going to be a liability. Let me just tell you. Let me make this clear to you. Our women will never be a liability. You'll be coming to my life and you'll be seeing a lot of them here. You understand? Most of them, they already have their careers. They are not going to be those type of women that will be a liability to your African American brothers, your cousins, African American friends. They will not be a burden to them. Our ladies are always striving. Just so you know. Just so you know. In fact, our African women in general, majority of them, if not all of them, when they come to the US, they are striving. I'm even encouraging them to explore, to give room to love. Do you know what happens if they start marrying each other? A lot of children will be out of street. I talked about that before. There's a deep meaning to that. Anyway, keep watching my...
I want to start with number one. There is something known as culture differences. Culture can make more than love alone. You know, Africa is incredibly very much diverse. But many African communities place a strong emphasis on perceiving cultural traditions, because marriage is not always viewed as a relationship between just two individuals. It can also be seen as the joining of two families, because remember, you are creating a family. You know, someone told me that marriage is all about two desperate people coming together to become happy. It is because a man who is not married is not wanted in his own community. A woman who is not married is also not wanted or being pressured to get a man. So it's like both of you are desperate and no one wants to see you unmarried. So it is for two desperate people coming together. Many African parents hope their children marry someone who understands them, who understand the family obligations, who understand traditional customs, who understand respect for elders, who understand religious expectations, who understand the native languages, or who understand the cultural celebration. Someone raised within the same culture may already understand these expectations without even needing them to be explained. Number two is all about shared upbringing that can make communities easier. Earlier before I said that the upbringing here in Africa and the upbringing there in the United States might be different. So that's why people choose to marry someone who understands them, who understands their struggle, who understands their values, who understands their native language, and so on and so forth. People who grew up in similar environments often have shared experiences. They may have similar views on raising their children. They may have similar views on supporting extended families. They may also have financial responsibilities. They may also understand the traditions, the religion, and many more. That does not mean that people from different backgrounds cannot make a successful marriages. But some individuals simply feel more comfortable with someone whom upbringing resembles their own. Another thing is the family expectations. In many African families, parents openly encourage their children to marry within their ethnic or cultural communities. Sometimes this pressure comes from a desire to preserve the language and even the traditions for the future generations. Another thing is the identity itself. Moving to another country can actually make immigrants feel more connected to their roots. So living thousands of miles away from home often increases the desire to preserve one's identity. Reducing people to stereotype ignores the diversity within both communities. Sometimes discussions online create the impression that Africans and African Americans are fundamentally incompatible. But both groups are incredibly diverse because there are differences in history and in their culture, but there are also many shared experiences, values, and even their goals. Therefore, successful relationships usually depend more on communication. It depends on mutual respect. It depends on shared values. It depends on the compatibility than on race or nationality alone. Marriage is one of the most personal decisions anyone can make. No one should pressure you to get married to so and so, because marriage is all about a personal decision. You choose someone whom you feel will support you, whom you feel you can form a family together, whom you feel you can live together in love and unity, and even blend together. Others marry outside their culture and build a strong family still. And assuming that one choice is better than another, it is more useful to understand the differences people make these days. Guys, what do you think? Do you believe that marriage is a personal decision? Please talk to me in the comment section. And of course, if you're watching me for the first time, subscribe, like this video, and share.
Life is going to be different when you're not away from home. You're not going anywhere to try and get something, having to learn a new language and all of this. So I do feel that a lot of times in general, Africans marrying African Americans, Africans will seem more focused a lot of times on the future and making a lot of more decisions for the family than African Americans and pretty much Americans do. We just, in general, we have a little bit of grind, but we're not really being taken out of our comfort zone. And so I do feel like a lot of times, like I said, it might appear, it was like, well, why are you, there's just this duty, this obligation, a lot of long-term planning. And I think that is another difference. I don't think it's a bad difference, but I do think that as African Americans and Americans, like a lot of times we think we're doing that, but we're Americans, so we're kind of we could kind of be kind of short term and looking more towards instant gratification rather than building. Oh, one more thing is the thing about elders. So yes, African Americans, we always pride ourselves on respecting elders. We feel like we do it better than anybody else.